So I've been talking to my wife about learning how to play Warhammer 40k and whatnot. And she was interested. Had no idea how to play, but interested. I talked to her about different factions and races and other whatnot, and what she might like to play out of the races I owned figures for. Eldar, Space Marines, Necrons, and Imperial Guard. She picked Space Marines. Raven Guard, Space Marines. Well, I didn't want this to be a Space Marine versus Space Marine fight, so I picked Eldar, and I haven't played Eldar since 8th edition started, so I wanted to get a feel for them in what I figured would be an easy game, and built us both a decent 500-point list for our first game. So, how this game went, since this was her first time even playing, and she had no idea how to play, was I'd simply walk her through the mechanics by having her throw the dice and count off however many 3+ dice rolls she got, or whatever the qualifying dice roll was, though for her it was almost always 3+, since that's pretty much Space Marine staple, Crimea River Orcs, and relay that information to me and move on to the next mechanic. When it came to tactical decisions, I would give her what I thought were her best options and advise her to pick one of them, much like you'd expect a military adjutant to behave when consulting their superior in a battlefield situation. Then she'd pick whatever she thought sounded best. Well, she picked a stratagem I explained to her was unique to the Raven Guard, called Strike from the Shadows. She took her assault squad, featuring 4 vanilla assault marines, 1 assault marine sergeant, and 1 flamethrower toting marine, and stealthed them. Then she took her Inceptor squad and put them in deep strike. Her Interceptor squad she placed in cover, and her Warlord in Cataphractii Terminator armor just behind them. In the meantime, I set up my guys all in a battle line, with my Guardian Defenders with Scatter Laser and Heavy Weapon in the center, followed by my Warlord Farseer and Autarch with them in the center, and 2 squads of Dire Avengers to either side, one 7 strong with Exarch and the other Exarch armed with a Power Glaive, his squad 5 strong, including himself. I felt decently confident about this engagement. I mean, the Eldar were good in 7th edition, why not 8th? FYI, I didn't exactly have that much experience with them in 7th edition either. Well, round 1, and she wins the roll-off to go first. She brings her assault squad out of stealth, just behind my Guardian Defenders. Great. Movement phase. Pretty standard, except for the fact that I now have an assault squad breathing down my neck on turn 1. 1 inch away from my Guardian Defenders with their heavy weapon scatter laser. At the end of it, she deploys her Inceptor squad, essentially in a flanking position to the Guardian Defender squad. Except that their closest targets are my Warlord Farseer and my Autarch. Well, in my shooting phase, she fires 18 rounds of blasting death from the assault cannons, or whatever you call those stupid bolters, on her Inceptors into my Farseer, and turns it into a grisly pile of meat. Warlord and my only Psyker gone. Long range fire from the Inceptors and the point blank range fire from the assault squad only kill 3 more Guardian Defenders, so I'm feeling pretty good about that one, LOLZ. Then comes the assault phase, where in a successful overwatch I managed to kill 2 of her assault marines. However, her Inceptors closed a range and strike a mortal wound to both my Guardian Defenders and Autarch. Okay, no biggie. Then comes the Butcher's Bill, and 4 more Guardian Defenders die in the assaults to the assault squad, and the Autarch suffers 2 wounds to the Inceptors, bringing it down to only 2 wounds. While my Autarch successfully hit the Inceptor's back, it didn't strike a single wound. That sucked. My Guardian Defenders fared no better against the assault squad. Well, to summarize my turn, I had my Guardian Defenders fall back. I fired both my Dire Avenger squads into the assault squad, killed a grand total of 1 of them. I had the Dire Avenger squad with 5 members in total. Exarch, holding a Power Glaive, close the distance and attack the Dire attack. 1 Dire Avenger lost in Overwatch. My Exarch cut down 2 Assault Marines, only to have their last Astarte standing, the Sergeant of the squad, cut down 2 members of my Dire Avengers, leaving only 2 left. My Autarch turned on the Inceptors, once again successfully striking them, but utterly failing to score even 1 wound once again. Starting to pick up a pattern here. That Autarch in all the games I've used him, back in 7th edition I mean, never has scored any real damage versus Space Marines. Are they just useless versus Astartes? Well, as a final kick to this very dead carcass, her Inceptors turned around and finished beating my Autarch into the ground. And after they finished burying him with his own entrails, they mocked his family, friends, and any Eldar who was ever on speaking terms with him. Bad day. Her turn went as follows.
Make the Eldar rue the days they were born. smash the Eldar into the ground, mark everything and anything of value they thought they ever did. Make the Eldar.
Long story short, the only survivor of my entire force was the dire Avenger Exarch without the Powerglaive and Shimmer Shield, who had a squad of 6 around him, who by some miracle survived the ensuing battle round, but absolutely failed his battle shock phase, and as literally the last surviving member of my battle force ran off into the night wailing like a small child. Not one squad of hers died, and I got wiped off the board. Moral of the story: don't take it easy on your wife, peeps. They've got minds for mayhem. Getting wiped off the table on turn 2 kinda sucks.